last class we discussed second lesson friction, few important topics, how friction is useful in our day-to-day life, how friction can be reduced, if a friction disappears from the wall what would happen, how we are going to reduce the friction. All these topics we have discussed. Now let us start today's revision, that is third lesson, synthetic fiber and plastic. Synthetic fiber and a plastic. So what is synthetic fibers and natural fibers? The fibers which are obtained from plants and animals are said to be a natural fibers. The fibers which are obtained from polymers are said to be, that is petrochemicals, are said to be a synthetic fiber. So synthetic fibers, here he shown, it is a picture of a bead and paper clips. A single clip is said to be a monomer, and if all the clips are joined it is said to be a polymer. And what does polymer means? Poly means many, mer means unit. What made human beings to search for the alternative for natural fibers? Why we are preferring to use a synthetic fiber? What is the use for the human beings to search for alternate for natural fiber? Because the population increased and the natural fiber production is very less. So all these reasons make us to use a synthetic fiber, and good varieties, different colors, easily available and less maintenance, cheap cost, less cost. All this make us to use synthetic fibers. So since some synthetic fibers are nylon, rayon, acrylic, polyester, terracotta, terry-wool, all these are the synthetic fibers. And first synthetic fiber is a burning test for the natural synthetic fiber. If it is smells like a burning hair, the yarn is said to be wool or a silk. Take a yarn and burn it with the help of a tongs on a candle. So if it is burns and gives a smell of burning air, then such type of fiber is said to be a yarn or a silk. And if it is smells like a burning paper, it is cotton or a rayon. And if it is melts in the flame, it is a synthetic fiber, that is a nylon and a acrylic. Okay, this is a flame test or a burning test for different basics. How synthetic fibers evolved to the present position? Our demand increases, different varieties, different colors, designs, and cheaply available, durable, less cost. All these make us to use a synthetic fiber. So first synthetic fiber we are discussing about the nylon. It come across during the Second World War, and nylon composition is nothing but polyamides made up of monomers, hexamethylene, aniline and adipic acid. Okay. Next, yes, some are nylon articles are given. Nylon has replaced a wool as the first fiber used in making carpets. Nylon is also used in making parachutes. And rock climbers are supposed to use a nylon ropes because they are very strong compared to steel. So nylon strong as a steel. And rayon is now obtained, is known as artificial silk, and it is obtained from a plant cellulose, but it is not a natural fiber. So some chemicals are added to that plant cellulose and will get a rayon. As chemicals are added, it is said to be a synthetic one. It is used in diapers, bandages, and it absorbs the water easily. That's why where there is a necessity of using the absorption of water, we will use the rayon. Next, acrylic. Acrylic is known as a artificial wool. It is known as a artificial wool. Sweaters, blankets, bed sheets, shawls can be made by using the acrylic. It is a fake fur, not a natural fur. It is a fake fur. Why we will prefer to use acrylic? Because pure wool costs much, but acrylic products, it gives the same warmth and it protects us from cold as wool do. So we will prefer to use a acrylic which is cheaper than the wool and available in different varieties, designs and colors. Okay. Which type of blended fiber? What is meant by blending? Combining two or more products is said to be a blending. Combining two or more fabrics is said to be a blending. In blending, one of the products should be a natural, because natural products will have, natural fiber will have the good qualities. If you take one fiber in natural fiber, so after blending we'll get a good qualities from both the fibers, and whatever the qualities are there in the natural fiber, it can be obtained in synthetic fiber also, blended ones. So polyesters, polymers, all these are the synthetic fibers. How can we say that a bottle is a PET? We have a 6 recycling symbols, recycling code 7, that is a PET, polyethylene terephthalate, and HDPE, high density polyethylene, PVC, polyvinyl chloride, and LDPE, low density polyethylene, PP, polypropylene, PS, polystyrene. So these are the 7 universal code symbols. Using these symbols, by seeing the checking that symbol, you can buy the products and we can separate based on that universal code. We can recycle that products. So always PET bottles are used as soft cold drink bottles which are carbonated. Okay. Now plastic around us. Plastic, without plastic we can't spend a single day. Today everywhere, in kitchen to bathroom, everything, it is everywhere, it is filled with a plastic, because plastic is water resistance and it does not react with atmospheric gases. So all the copper and metal containers are replaced by a plastic. So to preserve a pickles, we are using a plastic container which is a unreactive. So that's why a plastic is used. And you know the types of plastics, 2 types of plastic: thermoplastic, thermosetting plastic. Thermoplastic can be made into soft. Some of the plastic are polythene and PVC, they are used in manufacturing toys, foams and various types of content. They are plastic which molded ones cannot be softened by heating. They are called thermosetting plastic. If it is get molded by heating, such plastic is said to be a thermoplastic. And if cannot be molded, once if it is molded, such plastic is said to be a thermosetting plastic. So melamine, bakelite are the examples. Even Tupperware are examples of thermosetting plastic. And here it is given thermoplastic and thermosetting plastic differences. Why we have to use the thermoplastic and plastic and environment. What is the meaning of plastic and environment? Using a plastic and disposing the plastic is very tough and it affects the environment. If you burn the plastic, it releases some harmful gases. And if it is buried under soil, so decomposing is very tough and the soil loses its fertility. If you want to throw on the roadside, animals, birds, dogs, cows, and they eat that plastic and it is indigested in the stomach, so it affects the animal life. So decomposing, disposal of plastic is very difficult. Decomposing is also not done properly, burning also not done. If you throw on the roadsides, it blocks the drainages and affects the animal life. So usage of plastic, it affects the environment. So how you will ban uses of plastic? By following the 4R principle. What is the 4R principle? Reuse, reduce, recycle, recover. Reuse, again and again use the same polythene covers, wash it and use when you go for the vegetable market. So here you are using the same plastic cover. Reuse, reduce, minimize the use of plastic. Whenever you will get the chance to stop the uses of plastic, you stop it and carry your jute bags, cloth bags, steel containers to bring anything from the shop, and avoiding this we can reducing that. Next, recycle. Buy the plastic which consisting of a recycling code, so that when we after using we can give to others, or else it can be recycled into new products. Recover. Now government and non-government organizations, they are taking a decision that plastic when it is burned releases some harmful gases, but by processed manner, if it is burned, it is useful to generate the electricity. So using following the 4R principle, we can save our environment and minimize the use of plastic. Degradable materials and non-degradable materials. The material which can be decomposed easily by natural process into soil is said to be a degradable materials, and non-biodegradable, which cannot be decomposed by natural process into the soil, is said to be a non-biodegradable material. Peels of flowers, fruits, rotten food, all these are biodegradable materials. Plastic is a non-biodegradable material. So here, by following the 4R principle and using the universal code, we can minimize the use of a plastic. What is the role of recycling codes? We can collect the plastic. By seeing the recycling codes, we can make a separate slot, and that can be used for particular purpose. So coding plastic help us to in recycling. So what are the questions you have to write today? Third one, draw and explain the diagram of universal recycling symbol. Okay. Next, fourth one, what are thermosetting plastic? Give two examples. Next, how synthetic fibers have changed our life. Third one, what could be the consequences if a plastic are not properly disposed? Where do we use the process of recycling? How it is useful? Give examples. Next, higher order thinking questions. Imagine what would happen if you do not discover plastic. And next, indiscriminate use of plastic is a serious threat to biodiversity. What are the effects of government and non-government organizations in this record? These questions you have to write one time in the classwork and learn. Develop the concept about 4R principle, thermoplastic, thermosetting plastic, synthetic fibers, natural fibers, blending, rayon, nylon, acrylic, cotton, and how we will minimize the use of a plastic. What are the consequences? Degradable and non-biodegradable material. That's all for today, children. So children, let me remind, in our last class we discussed a few important topics of first lesson and second lesson. That also you have to write one time in a classwork, back of the classwork, these questions also. Don't feel that teacher are going to prepare the question paper from this. So I feel these are the most important answers. If you write and learn, it is useful. But you know my method of preparing, I will take from the middle of the classwork lesson. So you have to go through the lesson. Whatever the topics I am explaining, learn that concept, related to that concept, and I am going to ask. Thermoplastic, thermosetting plastic, 4R principle, universal recycling code, synthetic fibers, natural fibers, blending. All these are important from the third lesson, that is synthetic fiber and plastic. Okay, thank you, children.